Yeah, these big boxes have started to pause because of interest rates. However, these like the data centers, solar fields, all of this other stuff's picking up. And so there's actually more building than there was before, even with a lot of this commercial space now paused.
You know, something I found interesting is all the unique tools that are getting built for solar panels, solar fields.
Yes.
Like unique attachments on machines to drill at specific degrees and everything.
Well,
it's pretty nutty.
I guess in the Inflation Reduction Act, which is the biggest pile of nonsense, they put a ton of money. I need to look specifically how much.
I'm sure it's obscene.
A huge chunk of it was for solar and wind. So there's going to be a lot of that work coming.
And the wind, I mean, I still don't completely understand. Just let the things run.
Yeah.
And charge the system and turn all the other stuff off if you can. I mean,
I don't know.
But then you'll go by an enormous wind. We have a ton of them in Illinois, you know, and you'll just see that there's 120 of them just stopped.
Yeah.
And I know that it's about charging the grid and the system, but like just let them go.
Well, and but that's the problem. That's the problem. Like fossil fuel is really cool because you can turn it on and off, and it is its own entity. Mm-hmm. Like gasoline, I just need a vessel to put the gasoline in, but it's its own energy storage system.
Yep.
You have electricity coming off a windmill. You got to do something with it.
Yes.
And the wind's not always blowing at peak hours because people don't understand how a power grid works.
Yep.
And then peak hours are when the sun is not shining, typically. So solar doesn't work during peak hours unless you store it somewhere. But we don't have the ability to store it anywhere.
It gets job security for everybody.
Yeah.
I guess
I like it's great that we're looking into other stuff, but we have something that works really well and called nuclear.
Yes.
That solves all our problems, yet we don't want anything to do with it.
I wish we'd do more diesel electric.
Diesel electric too?
Yeah, I did. But you saw at ConExpo, everybody has a widget, an electric, battery electric, hydrogen.
Yeah. I've heard I'm really, really optimistic on the diesel electric. Like the 988 XE.
Yes.
Like in Germany, for example, they're like, why would you not run an XE? These are so much better at everything.
Yep.
And it's like, that's consistent across the board.
XE.
The 6 XE.
Yes.
What happened with the excavators?
So quite honest, they were not electric driven in any way, shape, or form. Yes. They had two
swing.
Yeah, so they had cylinders, nitrogen cylinders in the back of the counterweight, and as you would swing and stop, it would charge it, and then when you swung back, it would release it back to the gear drive and give you free energy back. Now it worked very well, but it was expensive. Then our engineering got really good at horsepower and valves and pumps. That when the next gen came out, the cost wasn't worth. I mean, we could do it cheaper and get almost the same fuel economy out of our new system. Now, it's not that it's not coming back. I mean, they're constantly, they have to look at it.
Sure.
But I don't think the filling a nitrogen tank anymore is it. I think it's going to be something electric.
So, was it 336 size?
FXE.
FXE.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And I still see them every once in a while, but not very common.
They were good. They were the first ones to go to electronic over hydraulic. That was in a 7495. And I mean, the fuel economy was legit, true, but there was the return on investment was quite a bit longer than it was, unless it's a high hour machine.
Sure.
But if it's just your average Johnny putting 1,000, 1,500 hours on it, the return on investment wasn't great. Because when you got that, it came with all the technology and the hydrogen or the nitrogen system. So now our new ones are so efficient that they're looking into it. Hope to find out more because we're going to Japan in June. I haven't been there since 2019, and we're going to be with our entire global team.
Wow.
So hopefully we get to peek in on what's going on.
And Japan is where it goes down from an excavator standpoint.
For the most part. I mean, most of the engineers are in Japan. We still have quite a few in Peoria at the Proving Grounds.
Yeah.
Well, like our advanced engineering team is in Peoria. But as far as lead engineer, lead design is traditionally in Japan.
What I saw the nitrogen cylinder thing on Cinnabogan. Mm-hmm. They were doing that on their material handlers.
Okay. And
it's supposed to be way more efficient, but they have it on, so they have like the 3 lift cylinders on the main boom this was the biggest material handler at Bauma.
Okay.
Huge machine.
Yeah.
And then they had an extra cylinder for energy recovery.
Okay.
So it just compressed the nitrogen or compressed whatever gas was in there. And then as it, and keeps that stored energy.
Right.
And then as it lifts up again, it releases that energy.
Kind of free energy.
Yeah, free energy.
Yes.
So you just compress, release, compress, release. And it was like a 30% reduction.
And that's what we were getting out of our next gen, or out of the FXE.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was when we had guys that were coming from like D series, even E's. I mean, they were seeing 33% fuel reduction, which is enormous. And fuel wasn't terrible then, but like right now,
it's huge.
It's huge. But
yeah,
like you go from a D series or C series into even our next gens. They just But then their mind's blown because they're quiet and you can hear all the noises and messes with them. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can't hear anything.
Yeah, no, it's not fast. It needs more power.
Yeah.
Usually has about 60 more horsepower than it did back then, and it burns half the fuel and it moves more dirt, but it doesn't sound like it, so it's not. But perception is reality for us.
Sure.
Got to go with that mindset.
Yeah, but I'm so for diesel electric, and I think it's and even in the trucks, like it's still so there's so much potential there that we haven't tapped into quite yet.
Even in motor vehicles, like
yes,
I have that half ton Duramax diesel. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love it. Like I've gotten 33 miles a gallon in a half ton truck in that thing.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Jeez. It's a 3-liter turbo diesel. Inline
right?
6, yes.
Yeah,
it's and I absolutely love it. I'll never probably go back.
Oh, it's just weird. It's like it's either one or the other. You can't be in the middle. It's
right.
Like, why can't I be in the middle?
Yeah.
Like I think the middle is pretty reasonable.
Yep.
I don't like. Are there applications for all electric machines? Sure. Absolutely. Correct. Underground mining.
Yes.
Indoor demolition.
Yes.
In tight urban areas that have noise constraints. Totally understood. But for Jim, the site contractor in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I cannot see a situation in which Jim, the site contractor in Nashville, Tennessee goes, I want an electric 320.
Right.
And we've California, I feel like is a great case study for forcing regulations. Like they've made contractors go to that average tier 3, tier 4.
Because you went and saw those old scrapers get rebuilt to tier 4, right?
Yeah.
What was that investment? I mean,
that's a lot of money. It's very safely into 6 figures. But then you have the California. It's really complicated. I can't explain it all because I've had it explained to me 20 times over. Yeah. I still don't understand it. But there's the California Air Board. It's CARB. They've created their own entity just to regulate diesel emissions or whatever it is. And the government needs, it's based on fleet average is how it's done. It's not by machine.
By gallons burnt, hours?
Horsepower.
Horsepower.
I believe it's by horsepower. So it's by fleet average. You need to be within compliance. If they will give you money to go convert your machine, your 1970s 651B scraper.
Yeah.
They'll give you money to go put a new tier 4, put a modern engine in it, which is why they used those scrapers to begin with, because they were so simple from a mechanical standpoint. Yes. They just produced.
Yep.
They break, you grab your wrench, you fix it.
Yep. Simple rebuild parts.
Yeah.
No computers.
So they give you money to do that. And then now the contractor gets to use that machine to balance out their fleet average. But then it's like the CARB or California is essentially leasing that machine for a 5-year period to get some hours. I don't understand. Like I said, I don't understand it, but it's really complicated.
And they use big iron to move mountains out there, literally, for all these subdivisions.
They use big iron, yes.
Big iron.
But what the big problem with that is when you force these regulations on these contractors, the big contractors can do it because they have the capital and all this infrastructure. Yeah. The small contractors can't. Yeah. Small contractors are screwed.
Well, they just can't do that stuff. You got to go buy smaller equipment and do smaller jobs, right?
It's created an even bigger disparity. It's either I go buy brand new stuff, which is fine. That works too, but you have to retool your business to do that. And a lot of people aren't in that position to do it, or you're done.
Because nothing's cheap these days.
Yeah.
And bidding jobs is more difficult. And Yeah, there's so much going on there.
It's really weird. But anyway,
one of the coolest things that you get to do and I get to do is just see how it's different everywhere.
It's amazing.
So different.
But then with that, you see all the comments online and you start to realize, wow, these people live in their little world.
Oh, horse blinders. Yeah.
They have they don't know. They have no idea how this is actually done in other parts of the world.
Well, I was one of those guys too. I grew up in Central Illinois, and I'm like, this is how we move our potato dirt. I mean, it's easy, simple dirt. We don't need, tiger teeth. We don't need, a set of teeth on an excavator will last years.
Mm-hmm.
You got the other places where it's like it lasted a week or less.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know.
Well, Arizona, I thought you moved dirt all year round.
Yeah.
You do.
Yep.
You move dirt all year round.
Yep.
But most everywhere else.
Yeah.
You're
correct.
not doing very much.
You can stay just the rim until you get to the northeast.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wish people on the internet, instead of like, that's stupid, that's wrong, were like, that's cool. That's interesting. That's different. But
I keep cool with the comments because I know you have to as well, but it's like some of the keyboard warriors, it was something that drives me more insane than anything is the lack of knowledge, but they're so confident in their lack of knowledge. It's just mind blowing. Like, dude, you're nowhere even close to right about that machine or where the machine was built or, any of that. I shut up and I just click on. I get frustrated.
I don't get into it anymore. I don't read comments.
You can.
Yeah. There was one, I saw this video. I feel like Garrett reposted it or something. It was
weird.
It was this contractor, like guru guy. He has a book or a free PDF or that kind of thing.
Yep.
And he's like, don't let excavation contractors beat you up on this. I one time had an excavation contractor that tried to tell me that dirt gets bigger when you take it out of the hole and charge me more money because it expands. And that's just nonsense. Don't let an excavator. And you're sitting there, you're like, but that's how it goes.
There's loose cubic yards and there's main cubic yards. There's expansion.
Yeah, if you go bid a job.
And this guy was a contractor?
Yeah. He wasn't excavating, but he works with excavating contractors.
Okay.
And it's like, ooh, if you don't understand bank versus loose, and you're bidding work, or it just doesn't work that way.
Okay.
But that's the internet.
To each. That's right.
You can't even share a lot of the cool stuff you see, though.
Me?
Yeah, I feel like you see so much cool stuff.
I do.
And a lot of it can't go on the internet.
Yeah, no, it can. I mean, no, it can't.
Yeah,
I have to be selective what goes out there, what I say. But it's the best part of the job, though. What I'm going to, and in fact, I love watching you and some of the people that you work for, that hire you to go do work, because I'm going out to Quality Enterprises in a couple weeks.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm touring Southern Florida.
Oh, yeah.
The second week of April.
See their 395s digging in water?
Yes. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I might get an ash tune. I don't know, but
yeah.
So we're going to go see that. And then I'm touring Canada for 2 weeks.
Wow.
First week of May.
Wow. What province?
We're going to start in Edmonton.
Oh, good.
And then we're going to do training for finning. And then I said, I have not taken any time other than Vancouver one time to do. I want a week and we're going to go see people. So I don't know how far we're going.
They probably have you squared away, but if you need any advice, let me know.
I'm going to go see Alex. I'm going to go up to Morgan.
Yeah. Just
they've got a lot of 395s and more coming.
395s and then another Thompson up there.
Yes, Thompson. Yep.
I was just with their whole executive team last week in Con Expo. They run.
Are they in the tar sands as well too? Aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're big time up there.
I'm assuming I will probably hit them.
Yeah, Thompson, Morgan, North American up there, but they don't run any smaller stuff.
No. Yeah. So we won't do mining, but we might be considering something larger.
Yeah.
Than a 395 maybe someday.
Yeah. So I've heard. Yeah, I've heard that through the grapevine. I hope. But because there's a lot of bigger machines coming out from other manufacturers right now.
Dude, you walk through
middle ground.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have a PC 1250 or Hitachi 1200.
Yes.
We have the 950, 395.
Yes.
And then we have the 6015. And there's over 100,000 pounds difference between the two.
Yes.
And so in certain applications, we do really well against those guys. But then when you want a 90-foot long run front or a specialty application off of a barge, we don't have the weight that a PC 1250 or 1200 have
Yeah.
to do some of that special application. So,
and that's like the go-to. They run 1200s. I see tons of 1200s
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Like Hitachi's done a very nice job on that machine because they're everywhere.
Rango likes them.
Rango has a ton
I think
of
he's one of the largest in North American fleet of 1200s.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of those and a ton of A60s. Yeah. They love the A60 Volvo.
Yes,
that's another truck.
He said he's the number one. So here's something that's interesting about trucks. Of course, I don't cover Asia in my job, but did you go by XCMG's booth and see those trucks? Mm-hmm. Which you probably saw them when you're in Saudi. Did they have the same trucks?
Yes.
Same style trucks?
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll ever work its way here.
The on-road trucks?
Yeah, that look like old military trucks converted into 60-tonners or even more.
Well, that's all they were using in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I went to one site, and they were running 745s there because it was just straight sand, like beach sand.
Yes.
And so those trucks would get buried immediately, and they needed the 6x6 bigger tires on the 745s.
Okay, articulate.
And they just cruised through the sand like nothing, just fully loaded with beach sand falling out on both sides. They were loading with 349s. It was awesome.
A gaggle. That would be a sight to see. I would probably have a tear in my eye.
Yeah. Just the whole. It's just funny to watch. But then the other sites, anything that had good underfoot conditions, all those trucks.
So it makes you wonder: will they float this way? You get a good quarry where you got good rock, good base.
I wonder.
Will they work here?
I think though it's just a lot of it's economics. So like in Saudi, for example, they very rarely run anything bigger than a 35-ton excavator.
Oh, okay.
So most everything I saw out there was like 336 size, some 349s, because they can just buy more of them.
It's like ants marching.
Because they don't have the labor problem.
Right. Well, that's true.
And so it's more economical. They get more output for 5 of those on-road trucks that they run off-road compared to one 745 for the same price.
You got to do what you got to do.
It's
do
just
it wherever.
It's just different.
In Asia, that's all they use in Asia.
Yeah.
In China, it's I don't know if they sell. Besides, unless you get to the mine, but if you can get 60+ ton in some of these, talking even larger.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah, they mine coal with those.
Yeah.
It'll be a coal mine full of them.
6015s loading those things or whatever.
Yeah, 60 with just monster buckets on them. Monster.
I can't look at that.
You'll love the buckets in Alberta.
Yeah. I'm fully aware.
Yeah.
Believe me, I get pinged almost every day on Instagram about small buckets.
When I went up there with Alex the first time, they had their 6015 and they had the 2 buckets side by side. And it was hilarious to see them both in the same spot because that looks like a big bucket on that size machine, but you can't really wrap your mind around just how much more. I think it's like 4 or 5 yards bigger.
I think it's 15 yards.
Yeah, so I think it's roughly 15.
Yeah,
and Cat puts just under
11
just under 11. I think 10.7.
That might be right.
Is standard.
I should know that off the top of my head.
Well, yeah, and I'm correct. I'm trying to correct the cat guy here, so I don't think
I
I'm
thought
correct.
it was 11.
But somewhere in that ballpark.
11.2.
So, but 4 yards, you don't think about how much more that is, but it's a sizable difference.
4-yard bucket is like really common on a 349. I mean,
exactly.
You look at that's a big bucket.
Yeah, 349 bucket.
That's an 80-inch bucket typically. Yeah. Then you go to one of those 96, 120.
They just load their trucks too. I mean, load them. Like they had a 10K haul when I was out there last time. Those trucks were
sideboards too, probably.
Oh, they were. Oh yeah,
on the headache rack everywhere.
Oh yeah,
shove them in the cab.
Any little bit of material that could fit in that tray was on there.
Oh, the tires are just screaming help.
Oh yeah. But it's just like that's how they do it. It's just different. It works for them. And then what was really cool, I have pictures I'll show you. I was watching a 395 loading a 789.
Ooh,
that was fun.
Off of a bench, I hope.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I saw a 349 loading a 793 at a coal mine once.
How on earth did that even happen?
Well, they just had like this little bit of like this little corner to clean out. And so it was just like, they're not going to go grab the articulated truck and fire that up. And the truck's there, the excavator's there, but it was a struggle. Like
that truck had to be as close to the
barely,
and then your full stretch to dump.
Oh yeah. I took pictures of it, and they quickly said, we're not gonna share those.
Let's not advertise that.
How do you choose customers to visit?
Well, so right now the best thing is, for the first time in this job this year, I don't have a production study.
Wow.
For the first time in 7 years.
Wow.
So that takes up a lot of time, effort, trying to find machines and do the study and then get the data put together and present it.
So is it like a new machine comes out and you need to do a production study?
Correct.
Like 352 was last year?
Yep.
Or
350, 352s, the 336, the 340, all of those were last year.
Okay.
So it takes up a lot of time and resources. So now that they're out, my little babies are out about, and they're significantly different than the other ones. It's time to go out and see them hit the ground.
Ooh.
And so it's nice. And typically it's a request. So a spring training with Kelly, they're like, hey, we would love for you to come out. And I'm like, actually, this is the year to do it. So, I mean, almost immediately we had plans to go out there. So
that's awesome.
Going to spend a week Fort Myers and all the way down through Miami. And so I'm looking forward to that because I have not had a lot of quality time down there, not to go visit customers. So it's typically, I don't decide whether it's a customer that the dealer needs some love with, or they just want to show me something new or different. I kind of let them decide. But if I'm going to go somewhere, like we make the best of it, I need to go see 5-6 customers.
And you go out there and you just basically talk to them. How do you like the machine? What do you don't like?
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Kind of thing?
Yeah, like, has this been good for you? What's been your pain? What's been great? Some of the times you go out there and it's fantastic. It was a year and a half ago. It was maybe early last year. I went up and covered Milton. So I did basically Boston, a tour around Boston.
Yeah.
And I went and saw WL French's 395. And it was probably the best customer visit I ever had, because everything I'm excited about on our excavators that people don't use, but all the good stuff that's on there, they were using it all to the T.
Nice.
And they were digging those large foundations in the city, loading 180 trucks, and they're using the payload. And it was within like 1%. Because they knew they were going across scales, so they wanted to make sure the trucks were loaded as they're downtown.
Wow.
And so that's all I ask.
They had that funny extension on that machine too, didn't
yes.
they?
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually met one of their, in this job, I'm not trying to sound arrogant because you have millions of them, but folks that you don't know that follow you or whatnot and like your job. And one of their operators from WL French I got to meet at Con Expo, and I saw his shirt. And I'm like, dude, you guys are a great contractor. Like, I really appreciate what you guys do.
It's Boston's so funny too, because it's like this microcosm. It's like Chicago and Manhattan. It's just like construction like that only exists in that little region.
Yes.
That one city. And then it's different in you go to Connecticut, like not even similar to Boston.
The way they do the foundations with the pipes all the way across I don't know if have you seen that? I've never seen that before. And then they got like grade alls and smaller excavators down there grading, and then
all kinds of fun
take
stuff.
it to the court. Yeah, that's the stuff I love the most.
Well, and then in Boston, all the pinstriping on the excavator.
I was going to say that. And those are good looking machines. You see one of those things all nuded up and you're like, that looks cool.
Yeah, there's not a scratch on it.
No, they take pride in them, which is pretty darn cool. You do love seeing a machine taken care of.
Yeah.
Who was I? Dallas Fort Worth large contractor.
Phil Hauer, Mario
Cinecola.
I'm going to go see them in a week.
Had dinner with them. As a matter of fact, my sister-in-law's sister is married to one of their VP of operations machine. So we went and had dinner out at Con Expo with the Holt guys, and they were showing a 32,000 hour 385 that looked brand new, and only one guy's been on. I mean, probably put 31,000 hours of it on, but that guy's been on it and it's taken complete. It looks like a brand new machine.
I might have photographed that machine.
He waxes it. He comes in on Sundays and just takes care of it. And they had all kinds of pictures of it. Like that. I like seeing people. That's an expensive tractor.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts when people don't take care of. I know you got to get the job done sometimes, but man, you get $1 million machine.
It's a cultural thing.
It's true.
It's a cultural thing, and I've seen it enough times to know that it's cultural. I mean, I've there's like this one company in particular, and if you don't wash your truck, back in the day, I don't know if they'd still do it, but if you drove into the lot and parked your truck and it was dirty, you'd get your truck taken away, and you do that enough, it just becomes part of the culture.
Well, I don't necessarily disagree with that. If you're on a job site, but I mean, I think, I don't know what it is today, but I mean, a company vehicle is worth a lot of money these days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's probably $15,000 a year, if not more, with the price of everything.
Yeah.
That you should be taking care of it.
Yeah.
It should look nice and clean.
I always like the excavators. I see a lot of stuff abroad. Like there's this one guy in Brazil that I have in my mind right now. He runs, I think it's a 330, 336. It has a Brazilian flag on the cab, and the counterweight's custom wrapped. And he has like a little bin for his shoes. So he gets into his cab, puts his boots in the little boot area on the floor, but everything else is spotless, like all
probably carpet.
Yeah,
oftentimes they have carpet on the.
It's like it looks like brand new. There's not a speck of dust in that.
Good for them.
Yeah.
And then you see somewhere every door's beat in, and
yeah. 3 Gatorade bottles.
Yeah.
Spit,
chew tobacco, sunflower seeds, cigarette butts flicking all over.
So you'll be going to quite a few customers this year.
Yeah,
as many as you can.
Mm-hmm. Going to Tucson, not next week, but the week after, doing a customer event.
Oh, cool.
Specific customer, and then headed down to Miami the week after that. Then I'm excited about my Canada trip. I haven't spent enough time up there, so that'll be fun.
If you have, I don't know if I'm sure you're busy in Miami, but if you want to go see the drag lines down there, let me know.
Yeah,
that would just be for fun, but it's pretty cool.
They might be on. I mean, some of the machines we're going to see might be on the same job site. I don't know.
I'm talking the biggest drag line in aggregate, like an 8200.
The one that walks on the.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They blast it underwater, cast it up into piles, let it drain for a week, and then mine it with 992s.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, they have a neat operations. Unique is Nutrien out in New Bern.
I wanted to get down there.
That's a cool facility. I mean, and it's, if you like cat, I mean, which I do, it's like, it's loaded everywhere. It's pretty cool. And they've got some 2 big giant drag lines down there.
But that material just destroys the machines, doesn't it?
So not the overburden part. The phosphate does.
Yeah.
So they have a long reach. It's actually a remote control 395 out there that works in this. I don't even alkaline type. I mean, it's hot and it's weird, but it destroys like bearings and bushings. So they have stainless steel fronts put on them.
Whoa.
Buckets.
I think
linkages.
I feel like we've talked about this.
We might have. It's been a couple years. Well, in fact, that was the very first trip I took after COVID. Was out there.
So is it Nutrien in Florida or North Carolina?
North Carolina. New Bern, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. It's a really unique application.
We've tried to get out there.
It's probably not easy,
but it was during COVID, so it was weird. But we'll get out there one of these days.
It's a neat site. They've got a ton of excavators, 336, 349s, hopefully 395 soon.
Interesting.
It's a unique place. Lots, and they're very technology driven. So they have command, I think D8s, D10s pushing up.
That's what I've heard.
It's very technologically driven. I mean, from object detect all over their excavators to remote control stuff. They're not afraid to do that.
When you go out to these sites, you hear from the customer, and then what happens? Like, who do you go tell?
Well, so sometimes it's like, hey, what do we need? Yeah. What kind of machine do we need? Will your excavators do it? Was it a 374 or 395? So we talk about material densities, depth. Do we need specialty application machines? And then oftentimes you don't hear back, and sometimes it's 6 months, 9 months later. But because sometimes these mega purchases, they don't happen overnight, or you can't get the machine for a hot minute. So it can be an immediate response to a year later. Hey, we got a great package out of this this deal. And I think customers, and rightfully so, they spend a lot of money on Caterpillar equipment. Anytime that somebody comes in that works for the corporation, I think it's never a bad thing to go in and give them a little love, as they deserve it.
Yeah,
and we appreciate it.
Yeah, it's is it now? You've been working on these machines for so long. Now they're everywhere. You can't drive anywhere without seeing.
I know, they're running around here in the backyard, which I love. Yeah,
we can
336 there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's. I know my kids get sick of it. Like, hey, there's a next gen excavator. There's a 336.
Yeah.
They're like, shut up, Dad.
Yeah.
You get excited driving down the highway, but they're good. I mean, I think the best thing about our jobs is how the OEMs push each other. You know, I was so stoked for Con Expo this year just to see what the other guys are doing, who's coming out with what. And it's always interesting to see the changes and where one OEM started maybe a little early and then other people are catching up, and then some people leap forward, and it's a pretty cool part of.
Well, the going to those shows is kind of funny because I'm a free agent, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I've explained this as I have better access to the industry than the CEO of Caterpillar. Because the CEO of Caterpillar can't go to Liebherr and say, "Can I go check out your Germany factories?"
Sure.
And they say, "Sure, come on in."
Yeah.
Oh, you want to bring your camera? Great. It just doesn't work like that.
Right.
I'm just like some guy in my 20s. I love the industry, and I can float around wherever I want. So I get to see all of this stuff. Oftentimes, there were some plenty of stuff I haven't seen before. I haven't seen it all, but it's like, oh yeah. I mean, this is in line with where I'm at. But somebody in a Caterpillar, for example, who doesn't get out into the field very much, you just see Caterpillar.
Yeah.
You don't get to see what Volvo's doing, what Liebherr's doing,
right.
what Komatsu's doing. All of them are doing. And so even watching people from other manufacturers just walk around, different booths, just even me observing that was fun because it's like, oh wow, they're
really taking a look at it. Yeah. They are. And the guys in our role, the applications specialist guys, we're pretty fortunate as to, it may not be the machine that just launched at Con Expo, but I'm able to get in and run majority of them, which I think makes my job easier. My job is to help our salesmen sell tractors. And hey, where are we good? Where are we bad? Be careful in this application versus specific machine. So being that I still get to sit in the cabs of excavators of most of the other equipment manufacturers, it's a huge advantage. Plus I still like running equipment. That'll never go away.
Yeah.
Even until I can't get in them.
Yeah.
Too old and fat.
What were you most excited for Con Expo?
Just to see what, when we launched the next gen, I think we bit off a lot we have a lot of stuff. There's a lot of machines on this. And had been curious to see what the other OEMs were going to do. Like what were they going to start offering, in their machines specific to technology mainly.
Yeah.
And they're coming.
And so, yeah, how was the show compared to your expectations? Like, what were your takeaways from the show?
There were some that I knew were coming that had some good stuff, and there were some that I was surprised that haven't made many advances yet. But so some surprised, and some I actually surprised at both ends.
Sure,
couldn't believe some of these guys didn't really do anything different, and then some of them really made a large leap forward.
What was good surprising?
We talked. There's a lot of electric stuff.
Yeah,
every all the brands you've never heard of before.
We did a bit about it. Like you can tell this is electric because every electric machine had to have like a blue stripe on it, or what's just painted green because it grows trees. It's
leafy,
environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
I saw one. It had a little duck pond painted on the machine with wind turbines behind it because it's electric. Like, say no more.
Right?
Yeah. It was all over.
It was all over. Probably the most exciting thing was it was a huge show this year. Mm-hmm. And you could feel and not even the tension, just the excitement of the buildup of it from everybody on social media to all the manufacturers, trying to swing for a home run this year. There were some big booths this year.
Sure.
Some massive people invested a lot of money in it. And I think that was the most exciting thing is how busy. And I'll tell you, we were swamped. I know every other, but there were so many people I didn't get to. I saw you one morning, I think that was it.
Yeah, I didn't even see you.
And you're buried in, and you got people huddled around you. And I think almost every hour, most days, had a meeting of a dealer bringing a customer that wanted to talk specific about an excavator. So that was the first time it's ever been that busy as far as just, hey, we need you to, and it was everybody, it wasn't just myself, but that was most of us product specialists had meetings almost every hour to shake hands, kiss babies, and answer questions.
So the dealers would schedule time with you and
Mhm.
like a key customer. Hey,
Yep.
they're thinking about buying 340s. And
Yep. Or they spend a lot of time with other with another brand.
Oh yeah.
And hey, let's bring them over, talk to Ryan, see
Yeah.
what you can do to help out here. So,
Okay.
but I almost enjoy that part more because they don't know what they don't know, and if you, especially when you can talk on their level,
Sure.
not Johnny Salesman, but what do you need? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And yeah, we have that feature. We have all these features. You don't need it for that. Like here's what we have that can help you, and not try to sell the house. Sometimes you don't need to sell a house. You just need to sell one feature that's specific to their application that fits their needs.
Mm.
And I almost prefer talking to those folks more than the. I mean, sure, we appreciate the loyal customers, but the ones that are like, well, and then even if they don't buy it, but you raise their eyebrows to it, it's like, well, that was well worth it. Now they're aware.
Yeah. It's more of a challenge.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's one of the fun. I mean, that's one of the most fun part of the jobs, as well as, we have all this technology on these machines, and it's that aha moment that the customer finally gets.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, wait, I mean, this thing will keep track of every truck payload that I put on. I can store it and get total material for the day and stuff that the superintendent's trying to keep track of every day. How many trucks did you load?
Sure.
I don't remember, or whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever the clicker said.
Yeah. Click it a few
Yeah.
times, and
when they're like, whoa, wow, that's one of the best parts too.
See, this is one of my qualms with the big manufacturers, though, is all this technology is great and exciting, and e-fence and payload and this and that, and the grade control that comes standard on the machines is crazy. But I know for a fact that it is not used very much in the field.
Oh, 100% agree.
And it's not for the lack of the need. It's not for the lack of the technology. Like the need's there. Like you get into Cat X where you're like, this is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the training.
Bingo.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, you hit the, right on the head.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They just get in it and dig. They don't realize that it has all this stuff.
Yes.
And that there's advantages to having it on there. Sure, you can turn it all off. Maybe you don't need it because you're out clearing timber. But if there's something in there, they're also new. Technology's scary to some folks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was an operator. I understand. Like, there's a lot of buttons there. If I have to put it too many times, I'm out. So making them aware was huge, which is one part of the reasons, like, I appreciate Hoopah so much. They spend significant time training their operators to, hey, here's what these features are. And I wish there was more contractors spending time and, honestly, their money, but in the long run, it's more beneficial to them and cost effective.
Well, the reality is, though, they're going to have to, because
it's not going away.
It's not going away.
As you saw at ConExpo. I mean, whether it's a dozer, motor grader, excavator, technology's coming on.
Well, but the technology is there for the sake of making, if we have a smaller workforce, but if we have demand for work that stays the same, but more likely increases over time, that's where we're going, in a host of scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make every single man hour more effective, more efficient.
Exactly.
And you do that a lot of times through technology,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes through using the right machine, which is what Europe has done. They tailor the machine to the task and then apply technology on top of that,
yep.
which now makes that operator way more effective.
Sure.
There you go.
Tilt rotators, wheel excavators work perfect for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they modify machines all the time.
Yes.
Like the Eberhard 395 that they have.
So cool.
They built their own machine.
Yeah.
It's just cool. But that's why contractors are going to have to go in that direction. And then when I go buy a 349, I get the technology whether I use it. I'm paying for the technology whether I use it or not.
Right. And so why this is where, and it's every OEM is going to have to work really hard to get that message out, because the owner may see it. Oh, we can utilize this, but if it doesn't get cascaded down, and then out, then it's not as effective.
Well, that's I think what happens is the owner sees it and that's amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll buy 3 of them, and then it ends there.
Well,
And it gets delivered, and the operator gets in it. I just wanted to dig.
Yeah.
Shh, computer, stop beeping at me. Stop.
Bluetooth. That's cool.
There's all these warning. I don't know what any of this is.
Beeping at me.
Yeah.
There's a seatbelt button going on.
Yeah. I just want to dig. And then they get in and dig. And that's that.
It's not good. So that's what we keep telling our sales team. When we're trying to sell these things, we're like, it's not going away.
Yeah.
And every OEM, whether it's the little machines, for all of them, skid steers, they're all getting technology on them, some sort of grade controller, and it's to make them more efficient, make them more money.
Mm-hmm.
But the training concept is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because this stuff is really cool and it does work well. When all the ducks are aligned, and everything is good, it works fantastic. It's an amazing aid, but somebody has to teach them how to push that button, use that screen, and understand why it works. Don't be intimidated about it.
Well, that's a lot of it's just ego, it's so funny. It's like,
I agree.
I've been an excavator operator for 22 years. I don't want to be bad at it.
I don't want to realize I can't cut grade.
And I don't want to have to go learn something new. I just want to be good at it.
Yeah.
And that's that.
It's all the things. I think with excavators, it's a slower process because they're so universal.
Mm.
And not to talk bad about motor graders or dozers, but grade control's been on those things forever.
Sure.
And people have been utilizing it because a dozer pushes rock, pushes dirt, levels it, slopes it, whatever. Same with a motor grader. Not belittling what they do because they're amazing, but they've gotten really efficient at it.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy efficient. But excavators do so much that they're a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm biased. I think most people would agree that. There's a lot of excavators in the world, more than anything. And it's because they can crane, they can dig, they can grade, they can load trucks. They do everything. Set pipe. How do you harness that to make one of those efficient to help out with a lot of those different scenarios?
Sure.
And we have a lot of it, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like you start talking to an operator about, we've got E-fence, grade control, grade with assist, payload, lift assist, auto dig boost, auto, and their eyes just go back of their head.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, my recommendation to all of our demo operators, which is one of the greatest things we have, I think, in the CAT dealer network as our demo operators, is go out there and give them 2 nuggets. What are 2 things you could use? Not all 10.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 2.
Yeah.
We'll concentrate on that. I'll come back in a month, and hopefully you've used it, taken down some notes, getting used to it, and you'll add a couple more.
Yeah.
It's
The problem of the CDIs though is a big dealer will have a few of them. And how many excavators in the territory?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've seen them work. It's awesome to watch those guys do what they do.
But there's not enough of them.
But it's not scalable. Yeah, no. It's not scalable.
Somehow we need to, I don't know how we do it. Again, Hoopa's doing a really great job. How do you get these contractors to understand the value of the technology that will help the operator and also help them in their bottom end, Yeah.
Well,
we're going to be more efficient. We're going to make more money.
Oh, I think you're making headway there. If only someone developed a platform that trained people.
Who would that guy be?
On their phone when they're running a machine about different technology. If only.
If you find one, let me know.
If only. We're working on it.
I know.
I did see Jason Conklin at Con Expo, and he was with Greg Poole. Greg Poole, I guess 3, and Greg Poole 4. G4. I think they're 4th generation.
Okay.
And we have a great relationship with Greg Poole. Gregory Poole, the cat dealer.
Yep.
So they were there with Jason and Jason's bigwig at Caterpillar.
Yes.
And I walk up, they introduce me, and he's like, when I hear somebody's name a few times, I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll look into it. But I've heard your name like 20 times. So I need to figure out what's going on. And to me, it's like, yes, finally, thank you. Like, I just want to show you what we're trying to do because I think we can work really nicely together. But everybody, all the OEMs are so protective over, well, it's on our platform. It's on our website. I'm like, I'm sure it is. That's great. But I talk to a lot of customers. No one knows where it is. So it doesn't do you any good. And it's like, you're incentivized to have your customers get the most out of their machines and technology.
Yep.
That's the goal. It doesn't matter how we get there. As long as it's safe and in line with the brand, like it shouldn't matter how we get there.
Right.
And using a third party is arguably more effective because we're not biased. We're just right in the middle of everybody. It's like your friend's dad telling you something versus your dad.
Yeah. Well,
same advice.
And I don't disagree. We within each individual OEM, doesn't care what color it is, they're going to go their own avenue and use their own training platform. And that's really great for a contractor that has strictly that brand. But like I was a union local operator, and you work for contractors that have every brand,
everything,
every color. So that's where your platform will be fantastic, because not everybody has the same brand. So if you can say, hey, we can do the specific training on X, Y, and Z brands, that's going to be huge. Because that's what the union halls do. And whether it's a John Deere, or Caterpillar, or Volvo, or Komatsu, it's like, hey, we do the same training for all of them.
Well, it's cool seeing some of the big union training centers and like their lineup of excavators.
Yeah.
It looks like a production study. It's like 3 of everything, though. They have everything.
So I don't use TikTok very often, but I was in Edwards, and I was up on top of that deck, and I did the fan of all of our equipment there. And you would believe how many comments there were of, oh, is that a local union hall? Is that a local? Like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Some of them are that size or bigger, but
it does look like
it does. Yeah. It looks like 150s up in Chicago. It's very similar to that one.
I want to go to that one so bad.
That's big.
Yeah.
It's a nice one.
We're trying to get in with, is it 139, 138, Wisconsin?
I don't know. There's
130 something.
I was 649. I just know my locals that I worked around. But
you were 649?
Yeah, which is Central Illinois.
Yeah.
Like butts up to 150, and then down to, then over towards Indiana, Iowa, and then south. So I think there's three union halls.
150 though is its own enterprise.
Yeah, they're big.
That's
big time. You got Chicago. There's a lot of people there, a lot of equipment.
Yeah,
a lot of projects going on.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's an impressive facility. It's not far from Peoria.
I didn't think it was.
It's just right up 55 headed to the interstate.
I just wish if Chad listens to this or Marty listens to this, business opportunity for Peoria or Tanaha, they should build a restaurant that looks into the arena so that people can have their Caterpillar themed burgers or birthday parties and just watch whatever the heck's happening.
Well, that would be fun.
It's like being at the zoo.
It is. Yeah.
But have your birthday at SeaWorld.
Candyland.
Like Shamu's right there swimming around. You're like, that's pretty cool. I would rather have my birthday party at the Edwards Demonstration Learning Center
than Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, way better.
Oh, yeah.
Way better.
I agree.
So I think that would be a huge new line of business for them.
It would be interesting. Be different clientele, different staff. But I will a shameless plug, if you don't mind.
Please.
So I'm wearing an Equipment Training Solutions hat. Didn't do it on purpose, but I was driving down here and I'm thinking, well, what am I going to talk to Aaron about? Well, I just reposted that Edwards is looking for another demo operator.
Oh, yeah.
So I reposted that, and I had a lot of questions like, where is it? What is it?
Oh, good.
And so if the Caterpillar Edwards Instagram site has a link to go apply. 10 years experience.
Yeah. 10 years experience. You have to know how to run everything well enough.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part. You have to be able to talk to people.
That's the hardest one.
I've talked to Chad about this.
There's so many amazing operators out there, but they couldn't talk to this.
Yes.
Can and not get nervous.
And that's oftentimes with our operators. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Well, stare at the dirt, pull some levers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of a unicorn deal. I mean,
it's tough.
And be willing to travel.
Yep. Yeah. You have to be patient.
Yeah.
You don't just have to talk to people. You have to be patient.
Yeah.
Like they had us out 2 years ago now, which was really cool. Alex
Lambert.
Trained Eric a little bit, and I got to join for a day or two. And it was just cool how Alex explained how he would go about it. And even something as simple as like, I don't ever say somebody's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like just that alone takes so much awareness and maturity. It's something so like even just this. I really thought about that. Like, that's hard.
It truly is. You go to the veterans. I mean, it's been quite a while since I trained operators, but you'd go to some of these sites and you're 35 years old, 37 years old, and these guys have been doing it for that long, as old as you are.
Yeah.
And you're trying to train them on a truck or a 992, and you're like, what is this kid going to teach me? And I don't honestly. If you get one nugget out of there of and they're like, that worked. At the end of the week, they're like, I appreciate that. You're like, yes. Yeah. But you're right. You can't tell them they're wrong because we just discussed earlier, there's different ways to move dirt and rocks all over the world. Your way might not be the right way, but just be willing to listen to them. And
if I tell you you're wrong, all right, you're like, I just shut that gate.
Done.
I'm done.
Yep.
I there is no hope of teaching you anything, even if I'm there for a week.
Yeah. And being a demo op, which, I'm a 100% advocate of the demo centers. Absolutely love them. That's where I started. That's why I've been 16 years almost now, and I've loved doing what I do. And it's from there. You get to work in all the different sides of the company, whether it's mining to, the division I'm in to, every one of them. It's a great networking place. Get to learn a ton.
Yeah.
Who gets paid to go run brand new equipment?
Yeah.
When I first remember, like, maybe we didn't have a program going on and I didn't have a class train, and I can just go out and practice on a motor grader and I'm getting paid to do that, and vacation time. Like, it's
pretty sweet.
It is. But it's not for everybody though. And the pace is different, but I think it's an amazing career. So yeah, they're looking for some good guys willing to move to Peoria.
So yeah, you have to live in Peoria.
Yep.
10 years experience in the industry.
Yep.
Kind of know how to run most things.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like a finished blade hand, but you can run an excavator and a dozer, I mean,
Sure.
everyone's going to have their favorite machine,
Sure.
which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, be able to get on a large majority. And even like, I didn't run D10s and 777s and 992s. We didn't even have those, but they're not that hard to get to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we have guys there that's what they did for a living. So it's a nice cross training.
Yeah. So if they just search Caterpillar Edwards
on
Google, probably.
Well, that if they do follow on Instagram, it's the Caterpillar Edwards.
I'm so glad they made those two accounts.
Oh geez, man, they've taken off, haven't they?
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I remember when they started them. They were both, as Eric and I were posting stuff and please tag us. We're really trying to grow these and try to show everybody that this is a good idea and this and that. And I told him, like, what are you worried about?
Yeah.
This is, once you guys figure it out, it's going to blow up
and
because you work at like the coolest places ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they TJ down in Tanaha, he's done an amazing job. Great account.
Yes.
And the gal that's doing it in Peoria. I mean, and they all throw their stuff in. So
it's great.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, but it's like Tanaha especially, it's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yes.
Every time I go down there, I'm just like, everywhere I look is something cool that I don't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when do you get to see a 797 do a brake check fully loaded in front of you?
Right in front of you. Or even just like, how many places can I go where a 994 is just cruising past me and I don't need a whip on my truck?
Yeah.
I'm not in a mine.
Right.
That's the craziest thing about it.
Yeah.
I always, every time I post pictures from Tanaha, they're like, oh, where's this? Where are your berms? Where's that? It's like, not a mine.
It's not a production facility.
Not a production facility.
No, they're amazing safety. It's precautions everywhere.
It's as safe as it gets out there. Yeah. But it's so cool. Or even a 994 digging in just potato dirt. That in itself, you don't see that. It's usually in just gnarly rock or coal or something that's just beating the machine up.
One of the things I like, we'll do our spring training sessions down there, and if we want to do something specific, excavators usually get what we call the general line, which you've seen that area.
Yeah.
And I'll ask Jared, will be like, what do you need? And I'm like, well, we want a berm out here in front of the grandstands and this and that. He's like, oh, okay, take no time. And then 994 comes out and starts dumping dirt. It's like, boom, it's done. Like, 24 comes, knocks it out. Yeah. It's impressive.
Fun.
Yeah. It's a cool place.
Yeah. It just doesn't align with many of like the traditional rules within the industry because they have all these cool toys.
Yeah.
That they can use.
And you have them there at your access to build what you need, and you have the people that can build it, which makes it cool too.
The production study, that's just to help inform the dealers. Like you get all the numbers together on, you dig it here, you dig, place.
Dig, put in trucks. So, because we run the trucks in an excavator, it's exact same pattern every single time. So if it's 13 passes to load the trucks or whatever it is, it's the exact same dig pattern every single time. Loads to the truck in the exact same spot every single time for consistency. Because if you start to the left and the right, and then you go back to the right, and then to the left, if you throw your time off. So it's taxing mentally to do the exact same thing for days on end, and to try to do it. Because when you're going to the truck, if I was in the real world and I had a big slobber that was going to fall off, I'd like try to change something to keep it in there. But no, you just
got to keep it.
You got to keep that cycle consistent. So so we keep track of fuel burn. We do hydraulic horsepower checks, and then we run those trucks over certified scales just to keep track. And production time, we time every section of the dig to the dump. to break down, hey, these guys are really good in the cut. They got good stick power. They got breakout force because they're filling the bucket quicker. And we learn a lot.
And it'll be, the latest Cat and then the John Deere.
Yeah, the equivalent.
And the Volvo and Komatsu.
We try our best to do the same bucket sizing. Same stick, same boom.
Sure.
The comparable one. And then if we'll try to use the same bucket if we can, if we use couplers. That doesn't always work out, but we'll get it as close as we can because we want to be able to give them legit information. We got a 10-6 stick and a 12-10 stick, and we did a production study. Nowhere close will that be accurate.
And like inaccurate information ultimately doesn't help the customer.
No.
So there's no incentive to
you're giving false information to your customer.
Sure. It's not the best
this looked really good, and then it's like it didn't do what you said in the field. Why is that? Well, so we won't ever play that game.
Sure.
That gets you in trouble.
So the numbers you come up with for excavators, though, then go to around the world
for
that machine.
So depending on, like, for different tier regions, so fuel burn could be different, whether it's a tier 3 or a tier 4 or tier 5 missions. So we have to be careful as to what we do. So a lot, like any HRC, Europe, Australia, us, Japan, we can typically share those numbers between, like, my peers from the other parts of the world.
Yeah. We
can look at each other's data because it's short of converting it from metric to US tons. I mean, it's pretty much the same because they may have different stick lengths because, I mean, if you've seen, there's Mass X are huge in Europe. They're not near as popular as they are here for a lot of things because we like the versatility of them.
Yep.
So we just have to be careful what we do. But for the most part, as far as fuel burn, we have to be careful there just because of the emissions. Fuel burn will be different.
Yeah.
Depending on where it's at in the world and fuel quality.
Oh, it's just wacky that the emission, that's the other thing about emissions. It just depends on the country.
Yeah. They're all, but it's a push for sure.
Like
for all the other countries that have not been so concerned.
But even like in the United States, if I go try to delete a 336, I'm going to have some problems.
I would say.
If I can even figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
But you go to other countries and the Cat dealer will delete your machine for you.
And well, I can't speak to that. I don't know if they are.
But it's like, so they just do it for you. You're like, yeah. Why not? It's because it's just not a thing there.
I guess if it's not regulated.
It's not regulated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the government, like in Alberta is a good example. They don't have those regulations there. Or Australia, surprisingly, doesn't really have emissions regulations.
But I believe they take tier 4 engines.
They do. But then the contractors are like, I don't want to deal with this.
So they find somebody to delete them?
Yes. But it's like, it's not frowned upon. It's not.
My caterpillar ears aren't hearing this here.
Yeah. Who would ever delete a machine? That's crazy.
Right. Why would they want to do that?
That's crazy.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Fortunately, I didn't have to delete my skid steer because it's under the requirement.
Under 75 horse?
Yes. That's the funniest thing about Edwards is if you, so when I was there, it was 4 years ago, I think. It was the first year I was doing Build Witt.
Okay.
So 2018, I think you'd just come out with the next gen excavators.
Would have been right.
And there was a big press event there.
Yep.
And so one day they do like the general construction, GCI equipment. Like 336 excavator loading a 730.
You sent me a picture of it, actually.
Yeah.
I got it in my basement.
Cool.
Yep.
Like the D6 and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And then the next day they run the little machines, the
BCP, we call it Building Construction Products.
BCP and the 302 and the skid steer and this and that.
Lawn and garden, whatever.
And all of those machines didn't have the emissions requirements on them. So you walk in because everybody's in that air-conditioned room behind glass.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going on out there, and it's quiet, it's comfortable, it's amazing. But you walk out into the arena, and when all the big machines were there were no fumes or anything. It didn't smell like anything. It was like, oh, wow, this is pretty comfortable. You go out when all the little machines have been in there without the emissions.
Huffing diesel.
It's like, what is going on here? This is terrible.
They probably didn't have the fans on.
Well, but it's like it wasn't that bad.
I know what you mean, but there's a difference. Sure.
Huge difference. Yeah. Way different. So it does work. It's not.
It does work.
It's
correct.
Not snake oil.
Yes. It's our government. We're doing what our government asks us to do.
That's it. Yeah.
I'll just.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll see each other somewhere in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
I'm hoping to spend a good part of the year just going out and obviously doing my daily job, but going around seeing people. It'd be a good year to do it.
Yeah, if you want, I don't know, you know as well as I do, but if you want some unique applications, I probably could think up a few of like 395s, 374s. There's some pretty cool stuff going on.
There are. Yeah, the requests that we get are pretty cool when you think about what people want to do with these machines.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we got in with AMI, which is Peer Specific, and they build all the stuff Cat doesn't want to build. And like it's, Cat only goes up. Cat from a Cat corporate level, they kind of have like, here's your menu.
Yes.
We don't go off the menu. But if you want to go off the menu, then you either go to the dealers, which some dealers will do just awesome stuff. Like Zeppelin, for example, they had some like blue lights in Balma. And I'm like, do these come with the excavator? And they're like, if you wanted blue lights on your excavator, we could do it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you want, we can do. But then they have their kind of partner manufacturers that do all the weird stuff, like a Ground Force or Crest. They use Cat components, MTS.
Yep.
So I got kind of a list of the stuff they're working on this year. It is sweet.
They do some unique stuff. It's for us, it's volume. I mean, to invest that much in maybe what will just be 4 machines.
Correct. It doesn't make sense.
Resource and engineering resources. I mean, we have amazing partners we work with, Precision does a great job.
Yeah.
Or Pierce. I'm sorry, Pierce.
Yeah. They've got some more. They just built that 6015 high reach for Independence. They're putting in another 6020B together with that huge stick and boom.
Is it placing rock on a dike or?
Yeah, for jetty work.
Okay. Yep,
Yeah.
jetty work.
Yeah, they built one. And then
because you filmed one of those already, right?
With J.E. McAmis. That was a cool machine. But it looked so small. The jetty was so big. And even like the rocks, they were up to, I think, 30 tons they were placing, maybe even 40. So you'd be sitting up there, you'd be kind of shaking around in that cab because the rocks are so big.
It's the coolest thing about the world we live in. The cool machines get to do.
I like the specialty applications.
Yeah.
Like Do I appreciate a 349 hogging in beautiful conditions and every truck is the same fill factor on the bucket and the truck and it's just gorgeous. I love that because it's kind of rare.
Yeah.
But all right, it's digging. You see it? Like, all right, that's cool. But some machine that's like the stainless steel for the material that it's running in. I love that. Or up in Alberta, they'd run the D8s with the radiators on the roof because they bury these things so often. So the front is sealed off. And they just put the whole cooling package on the roof.
Really? Because they get stuck so much?
Yeah. They've gotten so badly stuck. They have an escape hatch on the top of the cab.
That didn't make you pucker a little bit, wouldn't it?
A little bit.
I gotta climb out the roof of a D8.
Yeah. I mean, a
that.
D8's a big tractor.
Yeah, it is.
Like if you can't get the doors open, that's a problem. But they've just for this specific tailings application, Finning has said, yeah, sure, we'll just build it. And now that's like the standard spec up there.
Yeah. No, Finnings. They got a big span. They cover a large area.
Yeah, no kidding.
From
from
Britain.
Britain.
They can do some cool stuff,
Canada to South America. Well, I'm glad you were able to stop by.
Yeah, man, it's great. I'm glad I was able to make it down here. This place is fantastic. Congratulations on all you're doing. This is cool. We us dirt guys, man, we appreciate it.
We're doing our best.
Yeah, well, it's been cool to meet you at the beginning and to watch you.
Since the very beginning.
Yeah, literally.
I was just a scrud back in the day. I'm still a scrud, but
you're just not taller.
Yeah,
you haven't gotten taller. You just gotten.
I haven't gotten taller.
You got more successful.
Not much facial hair. Yeah.
Well, my kids appreciate me having my kids in. They were excited to come look at this. So
yeah. I'm glad they were able to stop by. Just tell them if an idiot like me can do it, they can do it too.
Two of them are in the trades. The two older ones are in the trades. So,
but like the key talking point for people like your kids' age, there is more opportunity in the trades today. Than the past 50 years, at least.
100% agree.
Like that is going to become. I was looking at historical precedents a little bit ago, and what happened in the I think it was the Black Plague in Europe. The Black Plague comes through and it wipes out 30% of the population, 40%, 50%, a huge percentage of the population. And it wiped out a lot of the craft. And so then the remaining craft workers became the most valuable people in society because they were the ones keeping society going. And everybody didn't think about it before because we have enough. They're kind of disposable, but now they're not. And we really, really need them. That's in a modern equivalent what is happening right now.
Yeah.
You have 40% of the workforce 40 to 50% of the workforce on their way out in a 10, 15 year period.
Yeah.
While demand is likely only increasing. What happens?
You need people.
You need people, but everybody in the industry becomes way more valuable. Wages increase. The power is squarely in their hands, whether it feels like it or not. It's amazing.
The fact that you can step out of high school, decide what you want to do, whether you go union or non-union, you find a trade you want to do, and more than likely have benefits and no college debt and nothing. We need doctors, we need lawyers, we need super smart people that have degrees, but we need a lot that don't.
Yes.
That just have work ethic.
Well, and then, okay, great. You check the money box, but you have nonstop purpose. You're working outside.
Look around here. Like just right outside your building.
Yeah.
We were amazed by how much stuff is getting built right now.
It's crazy.
Just within 2 block radius.
But it's cool because for me, walking into this building, I look at that building, I'm like, wow, that didn't exist a year ago. But if you're the one building it, like, wow.
I've been here forever.
We were this floor, 2 weeks ago. Now we're up. That's pretty cool. It's just this sense of purpose and pride that you can't find in a lot of other careers.
Yep, agree.
And so anybody considering trades, now's the time.
Yep. My kids wanted to go to college. I'm fine with that. If they still want to decide to go back. But, at this point, they enjoy the trades. They've seen that it's worked well for me. And a lot of my friends are in the trades.
What are they doing?
One is a union electrician, and the other one is doing concrete at the moment with one of his local contractors.
That'll teach you quick.
Yeah. Well, he's pretty muscular. I don't know if he wants to do it for the rest of his life, but he's earning good money, and he's not 100% sure what he wants to do, but he's got work every day, and I think he might decide he doesn't do concrete and go to school, which I'm fine with.
Sure.
But you get up and go to work, and he appreciates the money, I appreciate the work ethic it teaches the kids more than anything. It's like,
you can't get
I have to get up, I have to be responsible. I mean, I'm 20, 21, and I got to show up, because if I don't show up, it disappoints those folks that I'm supposed to work for.
Sure.
I think it's a really good learning process in so many ways, not just financially, but I think it's teaching the kids work ethic, which they need these days.
I think work ethic is learned and taught. It's not just something that you have or don't have day one.
Agreed.
I don't believe that.
Agreed. And as a parent, you hope that they see what you've done, or, hey, my dad's worked hard, or my mom, or whatever it is, but it's just not given.
No.
They've got to go get it themselves.
And you have to oftentimes manufacture it too as a parent, because today's society is way more comfortable than when you were growing up.
Ooh.
And so you had to work.
Yes.
That was kind of how society, you just had to work. And so you learned work ethic. You thought you just had it, but you learned it. You just didn't think about it. Correct. Because that was part of your upbringing.
Just got to do it.
But today, you don't really, the hardest thing you got to do is take the trash to the curb.
Yeah, sadly. And you just have to push kids. And the continued support from like Mike Rowe for the trades. And, I think we got some good momentum going. And what you do too, obviously, is huge. I mean, you have tremendous following that appreciate what you do. So
sure.
Anything we can do to keep moving that forward is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, it's on all of us.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You're on Instagram. People can follow you.
Yes, sir. Yeah. R. Neal, 1977. Unfortunately, that was the year I was born, so I'm getting older, but
that's you're a good follow.
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing what the heck you're up to.
I appreciate it. I was like following you.
Yeah. I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all righty, sir.
Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely. Thanks, Aaron.